For RBC, we feel that the TCFD recommendations are a useful framework for internal and external discussions on climate-related risks and opportunities. It's enabled us to work with other peers as well as other subject matter experts and other stakeholders to further elaborate the discussions about how do we address this challenge, how should we be thinking about it, how we should be responding to it, and how we should be mitigating it. I think at this stage in time, the most important opportunity about adopting the TCFD recommendations is that it confirms for both our internal and external stakeholders that climate change is both an economic and a business issue and not just an environmental or social issue. Certainly having the support from the board, the CEO, at the CFO and CRO level is important in ensuring that our stakeholders, both internally and externally, understand that we do see climate change as both a pressing and challenging issue, both economically and for our communities and for our clients that we work with. The idea of scenario analysis is not new to financial institutions, and while climate change scenario analysis has taken place over years for government policy development purposes, and certain industries and sectors certainly have used climate change scenario analysis, what we do find with existing climate change scenarios and models is they're not well suited to the type of analysis that a financial institution would need to do when looking at a loan portfolio. In doing climate change scenario analysis, what we would need is we would need climate change scenarios with a range of temperature targets that consider a range of sectors and geographies so that we have an internally consistent model and scenario that we can apply across our whole portfolio. We would also need to have a granularity in the data so that we can start to understand better the sector relationships to climate risk drivers, both within a sector and between sectors. And really the final piece that we have found challenging in looking at climate change scenarios and models is in the outputs of those models. Since most climate change models have been built and developed for policy development purposes, they don't necessarily provide the economic outputs that you would want to have in order to do analysis of the financial performance for a particular client within a sector, or even at a portfolio level to look at a sector as a whole. Some of those other challenges have to do with the time horizon within which you would look at climate change and a climate change scenario. Those time horizons extend far beyond the typical time horizon of a loan, typical time horizon of our current risk models and our current stress testing. We also have the challenge that most of the analytics and the risk modeling we would do would be based on historical trends and data, which are not going to necessarily be good predictors of future impacts. But yet, knowing that there are no correlations that currently exist between climate risk drivers and creditworthiness or credit ratings of clients. So there's a data gap there. There's also a gap in methodology as well in terms of how you start to take a climate change scenario, apply it broadly across a portfolio of clients, and then translate that into credit risk metrics to be able to assess what the impact will be on a financial institution. We are exposed through all of our clients, and we can't just look at one sector, one client. We need to be able to take both a top-down and a bottom-up approach in order to understand that portfolio level impact and then a business level impact as well.